Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Game Changer. I am Mariam Zia. In today's program, we will be exploring the strategic partnership between Pakistan and Azerbaijan. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif recently visited Azerbaijan and a number of areas of cooperation between the two countries were discussed. And specifically, energy cooperation is an area in which a number of deliberations were made upon, and Pakistan will be importing LNG on concessional prices from Azerbaijan from the coming month. In today's program, we will be exploring what is the potential of this deal between the two countries and what are some of the other areas of cooperation in which Pakistan and Azerbaijan can collaborate further, and its impact on the regional prosperity as well. In second segment of the program, we will be talking about the IMF deal that government is very confident that Pakistan is going to strike this deal very soon, and we will be talking about what were the bottlenecks that caused the delay in the deal and what Pakistan is expecting from this deal and what would be the impacts on Pakistan's economy once we strike this deal. To discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by Dr. Fazlur Rahman, who is expert international affairs. Welcome to the program. We are also joined by Dr. Zia Shamsi, who is expert international affairs. Welcome to the program. We are joined online by Dr. Hasnain Javed, who is economist and senior analyst. Welcome to the program. Dr. Shamsi, let me start with you. When we talk about Pakistan's collaboration and relations with Azerbaijan, of course we know that both countries have shared history and there is a lot of potential for both countries. But let me start with this recent deal that both countries struck on the LNG import. How do you see that this is going to impact Pakistan's energy mix and Pakistan's energy needs?
Thank you very much, Mariam, for inviting me over in the studio. Actually, Pakistan and Azerbaijan have a very long and very cordial relationship. And perhaps Pakistan was only the second country which recognized Azerbaijan after its independence. And Azeri people and Pakistani people have very strong historical and cultural bonds as well. And these are being recognized by both these states. Pakistan at this time is in dire needs of energy,
of course,
number one, and number two, the cash in foreign currency. So the present government has been striving to come to terms with these two deficiencies, and in that context, this LNG deal with Azerbaijan can prove to be a game changer in the sense that it will provide relief on two grounds. Number one, quantity or the supply chain, and second, the price mechanism.
Of course.
Because at this time, people of Pakistan are really feeling pinched with the energy prices, especially with the very strong summer this time and dire need of holding whatever dollars we have,
of course,
as far as possible till such time we strike the IMF deal, which is the second part of your segment. So in that context, I think this deal is very important, and it's a very significant strike by the government of Pakistan to have accomplished this deal at this time. And inshallah, as the deal reads, if the supplies start to arrive in Pakistan from next month onwards, I think we will feel relieved in at least next 3 to 6 months.
Of course, inshallah. So, of course, Dr. Fazlur Rahman, we understand that Pakistan is in dire need of energy and government is making efforts to get those energy resources in concessional rates as well, and deal with Russia was part of it, and this is the second deal that the government has struck. How do you see this is going to impact Pakistan's energy needs, and specifically, like Dr. Shamsi also mentioned about, that we need FDI as well, like foreign direct investment is also very important, keeping in mind our economical conditions. So what's your take on this?
The oil and gas deal, it's very preeminent in terms of the country's current needs, and I think that this is going to give a breather to the country in terms of the pressure that we are feeling in our energy requirement. And I think that we are tabbing this time, sort of different sources for
Of
energy,
course.
which is like Russia and Azerbaijan,
We're
which we have not,
diversifying our
which we have not
partners.
tapped in the past. So which means that certainly, as you mentioned, that we are diversifying our intake from different sources. So I think that, and especially on concessional rates, that is something which is very important. Our Prime Minister has been working on this deal for the past 6 months. So I think this is a accumulated result of the concerted efforts which have been put in to get this deal, and this is going to have far-reaching ramifications, far-reaching impact on our bilateral relations, especially in terms of the other areas of agreement which the Prime Minister has signed with the Azerbaijani counterparts.
Of course, and potential areas were discussed as well. That includes trade, defense, people-to-people contact,
Absolutely.
solar energy, resources as well. Of course.
So it's a wide spectrum of now relationship that we are going to enter into, and we are going to certainly sort of benefit from all these sectors which we have identified for our bilateral cooperation.
Of course, we are going to benefit from all these sectors of cooperation. Dr. Hasnain, when we talk about Pakistan's relations with Azerbaijan, of course, we understand that there has been energy cooperation going on between the two countries. How would you overview this existing collaboration between the two countries, and what is going to be the impact of current LNG and oil and gas supply deal between the two countries on bilateral relations as well as on the energy needs of Pakistan?
First of all, I wanted to say that odds are going to happen. Odds are going to happen. Like uh, Azerbaijan and Turkey and even the Russia must explore. 10 years. In my perception, it should be 10 years before. But now it's never the late. Now, currently Azerbaijan and Pakistan have formed the working groups under the Joint Ministerial Commission to increase the bilateral cooperation in the various sectors, which has never been done before. So this is a new venture, new idea, new avenue. And how it is a new avenue, it is a greater avenue for the agriculture, greater avenue for the trade, banking, IT, tourism, transport, energy, health. But our initial focus towards the Azerbaijan, specifically and particularly, is energy. So these relations are more strengthened after the visit of Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif to Baku, which brought various cooperation deals like the import of LNG on the concessional rate. I was in the ministry at that time, and I request for them, and I was in Azerbaijan for so many time, and currently just 2 months before I was in Azerbaijan, and I request a government of Pakistan to start the LNG, because the Azerbaijan is the hub of LNG and
Of course.
the petroleum products. So they can give us the LNG concessional rate. Who is the hurdle? I don't know. Why there is some hurdles? I don't know. But now it has been solved. So it is going to be the concessional rate as well as the cooperation in the solar energy projects. This is very much important. So moreover,
Of course, this
Pakistani
is
will
very much
increase its
important,
export.
but let's talk about the investment opportunities that exist for these solar energy projects. What is the potential, and like you highlighted about the challenges, there has been certain challenges as well. How to overcome those challenges?
Yeah, these are like for example, first of all, the most important challenges was the multinational companies. These are the companies. They nobody knows the hidden side of the matter. So most of the time, the people think that the government is under the negligence, and it is most of the time. But this time around, I'm just concerning this during the meeting with the PM Sharif informed the Azeri president that the federal cabinet had approved receiving the LNG cargo from Azerbaijan, and then is the two leader agreed to the Azerbaijan would help the Pakistan fulfill its energy need to cooperation and oil and gas. So the Pakistan state oil. So they are from G to G perspective, because the main hurdle was the multinational companies. So as you have seen that the Shell, Hascoal and other companies do have the problem that if they are directly contracting with the Russia, that would be G to G. Then if they goes to Iran, it is G to G. If we go to barter trade with the Iran, Russia, and other countries. That would be G2G. And same as the Pakistan State Oil is a government company. So the Pakistan State Oil and State Oil Company of the Azerbaijan Republic of the SOCAR. SOCAR will collaborate at the government to government level to work out the energy resources, and the Asia Sport LNG price this year have eased from the record high of the 70. A very important thing is the 70 MMBTU dollar. It's a $70 hit in August, and now trading below $10. So this is a very important point. Now we are getting this LNG on the $60 down payment. $60 on the discounted rate. So this is very much important. So attached to this, if I talk about the energy bill and energy imposed upon the bill, that is very much important to understand, because nobody ever put this in that area. Like for example, Pakistan oil import has dropped by 11%, and the country oil import bill was recorded by 13.8 billion in the July-March. And then is the import of the petroleum bill was recorded by 5.8 billion. So crude oil import rose by 4.69 and 3.86 and billion, and the liquefied petroleum gas imports jumped by 3.78% to 533 million in value in 2003. So, however, import of natural gas liquefier has been declined by 11% to 2.85 billion. That's a huge gap from 3.32 billion. So, this is how we need to understand how important it is to have a bilateral G2G relationship. And as I told you,
of course, this is very important to have a bilateral
international
G2G
multinational
relations.
companies as HESCOL and other companies.
Right. Dr. Zain, this is very important. So what policy measures or regulatory frameworks have been put in place to enhance the cooperation when we talk about specifically in energy sector?
See, first of all, there are so many hurdles, and we cannot, tackle initially with the, external issues, but we can deal with the internal issues. So many other political parties and other things and different ventures, they don't understand what we are doing. It is not about the shifting the paradigm. It is about our natural energy, our economy, and our economy is first. As Pakistan, if we have to make Pakistan first, and if our notion and if our mantra is Pakistan first, so then we have to understand the economy first. So we need to understand that we need to take up Azerbaijan, but not in order that somebody is not liking this because Azerbaijan is, not the trading relation in the previous matter. But now you can understand that if there is a 60% discount in a per MMBTU, so that is the biggest deal if Azerbaijan is cracked. Now we need to understand and rectify what are those factors, those who don't want to, want to be us with the Azerbaijan, those who don't want us to be, as we are taking the 45,000 barrel by Russia. That's the first. It's all been arrived, and the second is coming. So this is what we are getting it, but we need to understand the Pakistan crude import is much on us. So Pakistan import crude, how many people are with the problems? So Saudi Arabia, if we talk about the Saudi Arabia, so it is about the 188 billion. So United Emirates is 1.36 billion. Kuwait is 262 million. Malaysia is 34.6 million, and Netherlands is 566 billion. So energy deficit of Pakistan import approximately is 430,000 MT of the motor gasoline and 200,000 MT diesel and 650,000 MT crude oil of the cost of 1.3 billion of the month. So in 2021,
of course, Pakistan is in need of energy resources, Dr. Zain. Right, very important points highlighted by Dr. Zain, but of course we keep on pointing out the challenges as well. But when we talk about the regulatory frameworks, how would you overview those regulatory frameworks that needs to be put in place for enhancing the cooperation, specifically in energy sector and other areas of cooperation as well, like exploring other energy resources like solar energy, wind energy and green energy resources as well?
Yeah, actually you need to get going first, and now the groundbreaking has taken place, all right, and this LNG contract, as I said, may become a game changer in the sense because Azerbaijan is hub of LNG activities.
Of course.
So once we have made one contract and we are determined to have a strategic partnership with Azerbaijan on different sectors, including defense, trade, agriculture, tourism, then the energy will anyway have the priority. Pakistan is in dire need of energy in all sectors, whether it is wind, solar, hydrocarbons, LNG or anything, and from wherever we are getting it at this time at the cheaper rates, because we are starved of foreign currency as well. So we will strive to get it as soon as possible, as much as possible, and as cheap as possible. As far as the solar is concerned,
of course,
by the grace of Allah, there is no dearth of sunlight in Pakistan, right from the glacial regions till the Arabian Sea. So there is a lot of scope, and we could build a lot of solar farms across the country, and Azerbaijan can do a lot of investment in that regard, in which we will use their equipment, their money, and provide them the space to come and invest, and we will draw benefit out of that investment in terms of energy also, clean energy, green energy and cheap energy.
Of course. So, Dr. Shamsi, the renewable energy resources are gaining, potential, are rising as a potential energy resource globally as well. So, are there some initiatives that both countries are undertaking at the moment, or are there some talks going on some initiatives, or can you highlight some of the potential areas in which joint ventures can be undertaken, specifically when we talk about renewable energy resources?
Yes. I think during this visit, there were talks on the investment, Baku's investment in solar energy, because Pakistan has a lot of potential. It has a lot of areas where solar farms can be set up, all right, especially in southern Punjab areas and upper Sindh, and in the south as far as the wind energy is concerned. So the talks were successful. Azerbaijan business community has promised and assured that they will come and explore the opportunities. Now it is up to us how we lure them, what kind of incentives do we provide them, so that there is no time delay. Because usually what Dr. Hasnan is also pointing out is the bureaucratic delays that usually take place in the contracts like this.
And that is something you keep on pointing out in every program that you, of course.
Unfortunately.
Of course. So that is very important. And when we talk about energy sector, infrastructure development is also very crucial. So how do you think that Azerbaijan can help us in infrastructure development, or both countries can collaborate on infrastructure development for the sake of energy resources, specifically when we talk about renewable energy resources, wind, solar, hydroelectric, is also an energy resource?
Well, actually we have to look at kind of an integrated energy program in which, you know, the regular supply of energy through hydropower and through other sources should be interfaced with the solar energy. And I think that, you know, there are different aspects of cooperation entering into solar energy, sort of domain. One is the, as you mentioned, you know, joint ventures. You know, so it's like the big business getting involved and creating huge solar parks, you know, for providing energy to the, you know, national grid. And then there are, like, you know, small businesses also. For example, especially in agriculture sector, where they can come into manufacturing, produce something here, and then sell it on some concessional rates or on deferred payment system or whatever the mechanism they evolve. So there is a huge potential in the agriculture sector as far as the solar power is concerned. And then in the private sector also, the cost of electricity is going up and up. So people are trying to switch over to the solar energy. So there is a huge potential in the country, and I think largely this potential is untapped. So we have to.
Of course, there is a lot of potential, keeping in mind this strategic location of Pakistan as well as Azerbaijan in the region. That also provides a lot of potential for cooperation, specifically in energy sector. How do you see that potential could be tapped?
Well, actually, as we see that we are trying to expand the scope of CPEC in terms of connectivity, and there is an reinvigorated vigor amongst the Central Asian states and other countries in the region, which are trying to get more and more connected, economically integrated. So I think the potential is there. All we need is to create kind of a synergy in which all the countries can become a part of this connectivity, and then we can have a larger regional infrastructure, be it related to energy, be it related to communication, be it related to trade. So I think it's an open kind of a sector where we can put in a lot of effort and we can get sort of as much benefit as we want according to whatever we put in.
Of course. Dr. Hasnain, when we talk about Pakistan's relations with Azerbaijan, how do you see the bilateral trade relations between the two countries, and what are some of the key or major commodities that are traded between the two countries at the moment, and what are some of the potential areas that needs to be explored?
See, first I would like to talk about the few very important things and agreements between the Pakistan and Azerbaijan. It was agreed that Azerbaijan would invest in Pakistan alternative energy sector, including solar power generation. On the import of Pakistan rice to Azerbaijan, both countries agreed to formulating a comprehensive mechanism for exemption of duty. Very important. Exemption of duty at this time it is very important for Pakistan, because we know that our economy is standing where. So it was agreed that the Azerbaijan Airlines always remember, and we have to remember, that the logistic and transportation is very much important, and it's a bone of the economy. So AZAL will operate its 2 flights to Islamabad and Karachi in a week. The two sides also agreed to increase cooperation in defense, agriculture, trade, and transportation, and also they will collaborate to create a favorable condition for the bilateral trade by sharing trade information, organizing event, conducting studies to identify the exportable products, and promoting the economic cooperation. And for this purpose, both countries agreed to mobilize their effort to finalize a potential trade agreement (FTA). So the signing of the agreement marks a significant milestone in economic partnership between Azerbaijan and Pakistan, strengthening the foundation for increased trade and economic cooperation. And it is expected to create new opportunities for business and enhance bilateral investment, and contribute to overall growth and prosperity of the both nation. And also understand that the Turkey and the Azerbaijan is like you can say it is a two hand in one. So they are both very near by heart, near by soul, near by their ideology, and they are very much secular, although they are the Muslim world, but they are very secular in other countries. So the future of Azerbaijan, if we talk about the delegation there, it is very much important. I just wanted to point out 3 things, which is: one, a delegation will discuss the promotion of the trade and investment. The second will deliberate the energy and cooperation. While third will be will related to defense and cooperation. So President of Azerbaijan said MOU will be signed for the promotion of trade, and less the preferential trade item will also prepared. And he said several delegations
so,
from
Dr.
the
Hasnain, like I earlier asked you about the existing bilateral trade relations between the two countries, how would you overview those relations, and what is the potential?
I would
what
say
are some of the sectors in which both countries needs to put more focus on?
Very important question, very pertinent question. But previously, until so far, I mean, the biggest trade is LNG, which is coming now. Previously, it is just a tourism. I mean, in a recent time, everybody knows about the Baku, and everybody has an enthusiasm, passion to go to Baku, Azerbaijan, and go to Toftang and other areas in northern Azerbaijan. There are so many things, but it is not that much attractive place. But recently, they have developed the Baku in a very different way. I mean, much different from the Turkey. I mean, Istanbul is very much populated, and Azerbaijan is quite open. So it was just tourism and tourism. Now my point was, why not in trade? So it is very first time we are going to have a trade on LNG oil, and they have the biggest companies. Most of the American companies were there. Why not Pakistan can deal in the LNG and oil? And agriculture is the biggest promoted area. So we can share and collaborate in the dairy, in the meat, in the other product, in the cereal, what Pakistan is producing, and they have a little amount of the meat, so we can produce much out of it, and we can produce all these things to them. So as China
of
is,
course,
I
and
mean,
keeping in mind all the bilateral trade, that is not possible. Right, Dr. Sain, when we talk about trade relations, of course, that is not possible without connectivity. There is a lot of potential when we talk about people-to-people contacts, and of course, there was no air connectivity between the two countries for the longest time. So how do you see this latest development of air connectivity between the two countries?
Unbelievable. It's excellent. Now it is, I mean, first we have to go to via Turkey, and it's take 11 hours. But PIA given us, last time I have been traveled from Pakistan, from Islamabad to Azerbaijan, it took me 4 hours. So now the agreement between the Azerbaijan Airlines and AZAL will operate 2 flights to Islamabad and Karachi in a week. So this is a wonderful initiative. I would appreciate, and also wanted to appreciate all these aspects. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is, I mean, I would like to appreciate him, because his vision towards the logistic trade and other things. Of course, people-to-people connectivity, the business group must go there, and they are channelizing all these things. But I must appreciate these are the trade, and initial trade is the transportation, and he started this. AZAL operates 2 flights, which is very much important initiative, and that gives the real chance to fly over there. Not just about the people-to-people contact. It is about the not about just about the tourism. It will create the business trade economy, and we have to create the business trade economy to Pakistani people. Pakistan and Board of Investment must have to initiate these issue, and they must tell other people and people of Pakistan that how much benefit, how much potential they can have from the Azerbaijan, and there are much potential there in the real estate. You can buy the much land, and there, I mean, the land or the real estate is much in our hand. We can have, like in just Pakistani 2 crores or 2.5 crores, we can have the nationality over there with the partnership, with the industrialization, with the other plants. And I'm telling you one more thing: the Azerbaijan is weak in industrialization. They are just depending their whole economy on the manat is powerful. It is little less than the dollar, but it is going powerful. But they don't have the industrialization. They are morely, I mean, they are surviving on their oil and gas, and particularly on the tourism. So they wanted to introduce their industry. They wanted to introduce their domestic industry. They wanted to establish their industry in FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods, and they have the biggest potential of the natural supplements like honey and other things, and with jam, fruits. So, but they don't have the biggest industries. So we can help them.
Of course, both countries, there are lessons that. Right, there are lessons that both countries can learn from each other, and there is a lot of potential when we talk about Pakistan's relations with Azerbaijan. Both countries are cooperating in energy sector at the moment, but we know that people-to-people contact has been going on between the two countries for the longest time. Both countries have a shared history as well. Defense cooperation has been an active area in which both countries have collaborated in the past, and there is a potential for both countries to collaborate in bilateral trade, air connectivity, stability is another sector. There is another sector that is infrastructure development, in which both countries can collaborate and invest in. That is all from this segment, and we will take a short break. When we come back, we will be talking about the upcoming IMF deal. Take a break. In this segment of the program, we will be talking about the IMF deal that government is very confident that Pakistan is going to be striking with the IMF, and what has been the bottlenecks that has caused delays in this deal. We will be talking about that and what it means for Pakistan's economy. Dr. Shamsi, when we talk about this 1.1 billion deal, of course, negotiations have been going on for quite some time now, and as we understand, this deal is going to expire by the end of this month as well. So how do you see these bottlenecks that have caused the delay in the deal?
In fact, it's a very sad story. IMF programs with Pakistan is very disappointing. IMF actually is blackmailing Pakistan, unfortunately. It has become a political strangulation against Pakistan, like it was done by FATF. This is very unfortunate. This is no amount. 1.1 billion is peanuts. And I think if government takes an initiative and appeals to the expats or non-resident Pakistanis, $1.1 billion can be credited in Pakistani banks within 24 hours. So this is no amount. Unfortunately, IMF is playing dirty with Pakistan at this time because it is our fault. Every now and then we go with a begging ball to IMF and they start to manipulate us. It is our fault, unfortunately, and we must take corrective measures in a manner that we don't have to go to them again and again.
Of course, corrective measures are required, and structural reforms are also required.
As far as this deal is concerned, this should be reached this time, because Pakistan has taken all the remedial measures or all the advisories that we received from IMF, so almost complete, and we should be able to accomplish the deal before it expires towards the end of this month, so that our other donor agencies and countries are also able to support us at this difficult time.
Of course, and when we talk about IMF's 9th review, Dr. Fazal, how do you see that this is going to be contributing to Pakistan's economic stability? Of course, there were certain challenges that forced Pakistan to go to IMF, that we understand. But how do you see that, of course, government is very confident that we are going to finalize this deal. So how do you see this?
I think even if deal gets through, there is going to be, sort of a much more graver situation, economic situation, sort of in the coming days. So this is kind of an adjustment period in which we have to alleviate our situation, our economic condition by refurbishing our foreign exchange reservoirs. But the thing is that, why IMF is not complying to what it has agreed with the government of Pakistan, despite the fact that the government of Pakistan has accepted, according to the government officials, all the conditionalities and all the terms and conditions they wanted us to comply with.
The last issue was the issue of external financing. That has also been resolved of course.
Yeah. So I think that there is a sort of a political angle to it, and I think perhaps there is a larger scheme of things in which they want to put pressure on Pakistan for certain sort of reasons which perhaps they know better. But right now it's very essential and very crucial for Pakistan to stick to to the program and continue with the program. So no matter, sort of what it takes, I think we have no choice but to,
of course, we have to make tough decisions that government is also making.
But at the same time, the government is also, sort of like indicating that, if the deal doesn't come through, we have a B plan. We have other options also. So I think that, if other options are available, and if this deal doesn't come through, then perhaps the government will be, sort of exercising those options and coming out of this current economic, crisis turmoil. And how much it is going to, sort of cost the national economy or the overall economic health of the country, how much will it be affecting the credibility of our economy, and how will we be able to get certain loans from other sources, our traditional
friendly
countries. So I think this is a very complex and complicated situation at the moment, and until the decision of the IMF is not revealed, perhaps it's sort of a little bit early to say which way the things will move, but it's a very precarious situation, definitely.
Dr. Shamsi, are there some sectors of economy that needs to go under reforms, or that will go for reforms or structural changes when we talk about as part of this IMF deal?
In fact, this terminology of structural change is now very old, and
but those are needed.
Pakistan has been asked to undertake structural changes in its economy for a very long time now. And perhaps our economic managers, they do not understand the Western concept of structural changes in the economy. What I would say is economic reorientation is required, because Pakistan has a lot of potential. This is one of the blessed countries in the world which has almost everything, from agriculture to industry potential, the manpower, the young manpower, the skilled manpower, unskilled manpower, highly educated manpower, and the climate that we need, which other countries are not blessed with. So all we need to do is to streamline the priorities that the economy should have. We should be more export oriented and less import oriented. Only then this balance of payment can be resolved, and the doors that we keep knocking of the IMF will be able to do away with. Unless we reorientate our economy, which is more industrial, more value addition in our agricultural goods, like we were discussing about the cooperation with the Azerbaijan in the first segment. I think there is a lot of scope, not only in Azerbaijan, but other Central Asian states also. Pakistan's location is so strategic with respect to everything. Either it is energy, or it is food, or it is industry. On the one side, we have warm waters of the Arabian Sea, and on the other side, we have energy-rich Central Asia and our all-weather friend China in the northern areas. The CPEC is already going on. What else do we need? We just need to sort out our priorities so that we do not end up getting starved of the foreign currency every 5 to 7 years.
Right, very important point. Dr. Fazal, when we talk about a global economic landscape, that is also very important when we talk about the expected IMF deal with Pakistan. Do you think these external factors do play a role and influence this expected IMF deal?
Well, certainly there are internal factors and then there are external factors, but I think internal factors have more to do with the deal rather than the external factors, because internal factors are basically, kind of a structure through which we have to deal with IMF, and IMF expects certain conditionalities, certain changes in the system, which they think will be able to revive the economy, or which they think will be able to help the economy to recover.
Right, there are international trade dynamics as well.
Absolutely, so, they would like us to be the part of the global supply chain. They would like us to be part of the global demand chain, so that we can engage ourselves internationally. But at the same time, they have to also look at the current potential, the current output of our industry, our agriculture, and the different segments of the economy. So we have to really boost. It has to be an integrated approach towards our economy, and then perhaps we'll be in a better position to negotiate with anyone. So we have to, for example, we have to give more attention towards the small and medium-sized industry, which if you ask them, they feel that they have been not reformed, they have been left out. So we have to bring them back to the mainstream and try to boost them. I think every country which has medium and small scale industry, a strong industry, they are in a position to export more. So I think we have to become, as Shamsi Sahib has said, that export oriented economy, and we have to really gear up and try to tie up the loose areas so that we can perform better.
Of course. Dr. Hassan, when we talk about looking ahead, what are some of the expected outcomes or implications of this IMF deal for Pakistan's economy, and how this is going to contribute to restoring the investor confidence and also contributing to FDI?
Yeah, before talking about the IMF, I just wanted to, go into little history and so that our audience can understand what IMF is going on, what happened to IMF, what happened to our side, and what is going on the external side. So try to understand there are two economic terms, which is reprofiling and restructuring. So try to understand those both things. So we are towards the reprofiling, not for the restructuring. Restructuring is a very technical term, which is not about the a positive, just only of the positive side. We have to understand our internal debts and our total debt restructuring, and how can we do it. So now try to understand the Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has expressed his optimism regarding Pakistan's chance of striking a deal with the International Monetary Fund. And first thing first, try to understand that we have to give the $22 billion of the debt in this year, and first tranche it is about the $6 billion. And after this, now we are negotiating on this point this month, saying that the government has accepted all the conditions of the global lenders and implemented them. But recalling his telephonic conversation with the international lenders managing director MD, the Prime Minister expressed the confidence that the IMF 9th review would sooner or later be approved. They had been met all the demands. So the Prime Minister's statement came as Pakistan seeks the immediate release of 1.1 billion, part of 6.5 billion bailout package. 6.5 billion bailout package of the country signed up for in 2019. So best last received in last received IMF tranche as a part of the program in August last year. So despite 10 days visit by the lenders delegation earlier this year, the program, which is set to expire by the end of the June, remains stalled. Right. So the Ministry of Finance has said the coalition government was fully committed to International Monetary Fund IMF program and keen to least complete the 9th review, as it had already been taken many difficult and political cost, which is politically costly decision in the next context. So, responding to the statement of IMF resident representative, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not pronouncing wrong, is Miss Esther Perez. The finance minister spokesperson said negotiation with the fund were going on. However, it would be appropriate to clarify our position on some specific issue raised in the press statement. So he said the 9th review was conducted in early Feb in 2023, and the government.
Of course, we've already discussed those points, Dr. Hassan. Let's talk about, once the deal is struck between Pakistan and IMF, how this is going to be impacting Pakistan's economy, as well as I want you to shed light on how this is going to restore the investors' confidence in Pakistan.
See, very much important. So, if most of the analysts says that the IMF or no IMF, we can do without IMF, we can bring the change without IMF. It is not at all possible. We have to give them a $6 billion and make the deal, and we need to crack the deal. But on the cost, we have to restructure first in our side, and then we will not be able. And so, it is about the extended fund facility. Then if we will not, fulfill all the restructuring facilities, then we would be Sri Lanka. We will not be the Sri Lanka. That's why we are dealing and restructuring all the necessary exercise. We are avoiding that, exercise. What they will do, if we will not complete that, then IMF will give us and induct their whole board on Pakistan, and they will, actually, you can say, clutch us in a different way. We will in the continuous debt after that. They will intervene in every way possible in our industry, in every execution, how we deal, and how if we are dealing with the China, they would intervene. If we're dealing with the LNG gas, they would intervene. If we will do with the Russia, they will intervene. So that we have to complete the $6 billion of their package. So that extended fund facility would be just the IMF tranche. But we need an IMF tranche. Try to understand that this government is going good on this level, that let it complete, but we are not giving our respect and dignity to them. So this have to complete. We need IMF, but not on the basis of dignity. So that's why the concerned government is saying this, that we will go to the plan B if it not happen, but we will not allow them to intervene in our internal matters. That would be difficult because we are the nuclear power, and we cannot compromise on nuclear power in any way possible. As we said, and the Zede Bhutto said, so we will eat grass, but we will not compromise on the issue of the nuclear. So this is very much important, but we have so many internal issues. Did we ever talk about the internal issues of America? They are always into default. They will also go into the Great Depression. They always go into the different troubles. But of course, IMF, World Bank belongs to that idea, and this is the financial group, and we are the part of that clunge. So we have to come out of the dollarization. We have to come. We have to be the part of the. Not just the eurozone. We have to be the RMB zone, and we have to be in the ruble zone. We have to be in the currency. We have into the yuan zone as well. So there are so many things. We are working on the FBR. We are working on the trigger of the growth. We are working on we are. Dr. Shamsi is very much right. Yes, we have to take up the broad-based domestic economic zones, and our mantra would be export. So for the long-term planning we can come out of it, but for the short-term planning, we in any way possible we need IMF, but not on their instruction. We will complete their instruction, but we will not give us on the way that we have to give us first $6 billion, and then we will crack the deal.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sen Javed, for your comments, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Dr. Fazlur Rahman, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Dr. Zia Shamsi, for joining us in today's program. We talked about Pakistan's relations with Azerbaijan. Of course, when we talk about Pakistan's relations with Azerbaijan, there is a lot of potential, and the recent LNG deal on concessional price is a way to go, and there is a lot of potential in energy sector as well as defense cooperation. People-to-people contact is another sector in which both countries have been collaborating. When we talk about connectivity, of course, there is a lot of potential when we talk about air connectivity. And in the second segment of program, of course, we talked about Pakistan's upcoming IMF deal. And of course, government is very confident that Pakistan is going to struck this deal with IMF. And of course, when we conclude this program, Pakistan observed the day of mourning today, and Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif announced this national day of mourning for those Pakistani nationals who lost their lives in the ship that sank off the coast of Greece. And Team Game Changer and PTV World and whole Pakistani nation is praying for those who lost their lives and for the bereaved families. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care. Allah.